And you are the victim in this case. And you defend these comments, don't you?
I think it was just taken out of context. It wasn't... It's common sense. It's just advice.
I mean, all hell broke loose, didn't it, Judge? You know, you had the temerity to speak what I thought was absolute common sense, whether you were talking to a young woman, a young man. I've got 3 sons who go out in the town all the time. I say, if you drink too much alcohol, you will lose a sense of your own self-control and all hell can break loose.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that if they get mugged or attacked or, in your case, raped, that somehow it's all your fault. What it means is you can take precautions. I mean, isn't that what you were saying?
Well, yes. I mean, I gave one example that we don't like burglars, but and they shouldn't burgle. But we do close and lock our doors at night, and anybody who leaves them open, they're not protecting themselves and their belongings.
You were vilified, weren't you? I mean, Dame Vera Baird,
yes,
QC, Northumbria's Police and Crime Commissioner, said your victims were victim-blaming, your comments were victim-blaming, and would actually stop victims coming forward. I found that extraordinary comment. She said, when somebody is raped, they feel guilt and shame, find it very hard to report it. If a judge has just said to them, well, if you drank, you're more likely to be raped, we're not likely to believe you, and you've been disinhibited, and so on. When you heard those comments, did it give you pause for thought, or did you think she was completely wrong?
First, I wondered whether she'd been given the whole quote. That's what I was anxious about at the beginning. But I didn't worry about it too much, because I'm sure whatever a judge says, there are people waiting to criticise what they're saying.
Megan, you had been drinking.
Yeah.
You weren't to blame.
No.
For what happened to you.
No, of course not. But I know that the fact I was drunk did put me in more danger. Not that that's my fault, that anything happened. It's not my fault, but the risk was higher because I was drunk.
Did you have a fear of going to the police because you'd been drinking? Do you think that the judge's comments in this case might make women who are raped when they're drunk think, I'm going to be told I'm partially responsible for what happened to me?
Maybe, but because that's an attitude that a lot of people have, that, you know, the way you behave makes it your fault. It's not to say that it's your fault, but just the risk is higher. You need to look after yourself.
I think this is part of the problem for some women who were concerned about those comments, is that women often get told that their behaviour, the things they're wearing, going out late at night, I mean, historically, these things, women have been told they might reconsider,
yes,
because of what it provokes in men. The fact of the matter is, the only person responsible for rape is the rapist.
Oh, absolutely. My comments have been criticised in relation to perhaps putting off people from coming forward once they have been raped. My intention was to stop them getting raped in the first place.
But the man is responsible.
The man
for the rape.
is...
The woman is
absolutely
not responsible for
But
the
you don't think there's
assault
any
that
responsibility
happens to her.
at all?
I don't
Seriously?
think there's any responsibility when it comes
but a responsibility
to women.
to everybody when they do go out, everybody, male or female, to actually just take some precautions. As the judge said, you lock your door at home of your car, of your house, you take precautions to prevent crime being committed against you.
Where do we stop with telling women what precautions they should take without saying it is the man who rapes who is responsible?
Well, I mean,
100%.
obviously, the man is responsible.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
And there are many women who get raped who are not drunk.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there are a lot of drink also leads to a lot of physical attacks as well. So, I mean, it's very difficult to say, oh, right, well, everything's the man's fault, which it is. But why shouldn't you say, but be aware, ladies?
I mean, Megan, let's ask you, you're the victim here. You very bravely waived your right to anonymity to talk about all this. I mean, what struck me about it was I didn't find any of this outrageous. I've got a daughter who's growing up fast. I will have the same conversation with her. It won't be, if you ever get sexually assaulted, it's your fault. What it will be is to stop yourself from being in a position where you may be vulnerable to that kind of thing. Here are a few things you should think about. Yeah. I think it's parental advice. I don't see there's a conflict in those two things. What is your view to young women watching this who, like Susanna, say, you know, how can you ever put any responsibility on a rape victim in this way? What do you say?
There is never any responsibility on a rape victim, none at all. But it is just common sense to look after yourself. There's danger out there. It just, in every aspect of life, there's danger. Just be careful.
The one